Well, guys, as you can see in my current predicament and where I'm at, I am actually under the travel trailer. So notice that we were hearing a little weird noise in the back of the RV. We were making sharp turns. Well, I figured out what's wrong. So this is going to be fun. Okay, guys, so I found out the root of our problem. As you guys can see, these right here. These are called shackle links, and these belong up on this bolt right here. So what happened is, you see the other set of links over here, these tie into your leaf springs and they hang on this T-hanger here. Well, ours has busted, I'm assuming from metal fatigue, and they stretched and popped out. So what we've got to do is get these here taken off, measured, and go get some replacements. And then we're going to have to lift the whole RV off the ground and get the weight off of the suspension here to get this bolt here that belongs in this hole here, get all this back up and get it aligned, and make sure that the axles never came out of alignment. We got extremely lucky that we didn't wreck, to be honest with you, when these busted. Now you can look at these things, you know, but I look at stuff like this all the time before we take off. But this one decided to do a failure. Well, we were also off grid for a while, so that probably didn't help the situation any, as far as going up and down in some weird, you know, orientations with the camper out on BLM land. So thinking that maybe they were just a little old, had a little bit of metal fatigue, and snapped. But anyway, this is going to be a process because, like I said, we got extremely lucky. As you guys can see, the leaf spring, which is this thing here, is actually resting right against the frame of the trailer. So we got extremely lucky that it just went there instead of ripping the whole axle out of the back of the camper and causing us to either roll over or have a crash in some fashion. So anyway, what I've done so far is I've sprayed the bolts down with some PB Blaster in hopes that I can recover the bolt to actually get a precise measurement for replacement bolt when I go get the new shackle links. And also same thing with the leaf spring mount bolt. So yep, we're gonna get to work on this and see what we can do. Okay, guys, so we got it apart, and degree of difficulty was probably about a 5. Just because bolts are a little rusty and a little crusty in there, which we're going to replace those with new bolts as long as I can track down the hardware. That's going to be the next thing. But I'll show you what we're working with here. Well, if you guys can see, this is the point of failure on our shackle links, which is quite extreme. I'm assuming it's because of the rough terrain on BLM land that caused that to fail that badly. But you look at the other one here, it did the same thing, but it kind of sheared off. I think this one might have been the one that was hanging on for dear life and trying not to let us down. But either which way, they both let us down. So we're going to go try to track these shackle links down. Now, I've called some different RV dealers, and they do not stock these things. So I'm going to go to a frame and spring shop here in the valley to see if they got these. Now, I don't know what they're going to cost. The guy said if he's got anything down there as far as that can work for this setup, anywhere between $2 to $5 a piece. So it's not a very costly repair unless you're paying a technician. But if you can do some work yourself, save some money, just remember to preload your suspension when you get done and make sure your axles are not out of alignment. Because if your axle's out of alignment, when you go to put this back together, you're going to get uneven wear on your tires and could possibly end right back up in the same situation. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go track these two parts down, track another one of these down, which this is your leaf spring bolt, and this one here is your shackle link bolt. And as you guys can see, yeah, that's now in two parts because, like I said, crusty did not want to come apart. So like I said, as long as I can find the parts, over here at this little shop over here does trailer work for commercial trucks. They kind of have some similar system, but sometimes they're on a bigger scale. If I can find something over there to work for this application, that's definitely going to save some money. And by me doing it, one shop I called, that's where I discovered the problem. They were like $175 an hour and 2-hour minimum. Now, mind you, I took that apart in less than 20 minutes. And it's cold out here today. Yes, it's freezing cold in Arizona at the moment. So that made it a little bit more difficult. Bolts just really didn't want to come apart. Probably should have waited till it warmed up a little bit. But, you know, as full-time RVers, you got to kind of hurry up and get things done because you got to move on to the next destination. Okay, boys and girls. So, went out, got parts. Unfortunately, they didn't have a part in stock, so we're going to have to wait to put this back together. But, you know, it's one of those things you need to replace everything that's bad, especially if you're going to be in there. And this is where RV life becomes a pain in the hind end. As you guys can see, I showed you these earlier. These are the parts that failed. These are the new parts, the components that go together. But we still have to get the equalizer, which is what this all amounts to keep the suspension functioning properly and keeps everything in alignment. So like I said, you know, living full-time RV life is great, but like I said, you do have these unexpected little things that happen, and you know, they can be quite costly, or they can be a little cheaper if you want to get your hands dirty and do the work yourself. But sometimes you're still on a hold pattern for parts, and so that's not always fun in RV life. Like, if fortunate for us this time, we're actually going to be in a location for a little bit longer so we can wait out the parts, but hopefully the parts get here on time. That way I don't have to rush to try to get everything together, because nothing good comes of rushing getting parts back together on your RV. You want to take your time and make sure everything's going in correctly and to spec. Because if it's not, it's just going to be another catastrophe waiting to happen. Like I said, you know, RV life is a good life, but like I said, the little issues like this right here makes RVing a little rough. The not knowing of, oh man, is something going to hold together? You can't really always think negative, like all things are always going to break, you know, but things do break. Just be prepared for it, and you know, try not to get too bent out of shape when it does break, because then it makes RVing not fun for you. Does this suck that I have to do this? Yes, it sucks a lot, but this is not going to make me stop RVing. So that brings me to my point is, you know, if you're not willing to get your hands dirty a little bit every now and again, and you don't have abundance of money, RV life is not going to be for you. If you don't mind getting your hands dirty and doing a little work on your own rig, then, you know, things are going to work and go a little smoother for you out here. Now, sometimes, you know, you're going to have an RV that's just going to be a money pit. And my suggestion at that point is consider finding another unit that you're not having so many issues with on a regular basis. But, you know, these are suspension components, and every time you back one of these things in, you put these things on such a bind, and you put so much pressure on these little parts, and sooner or later, they're bound to snap. And that's what we have here. You know, because this is on the outside passenger side, so every time you back into a campsite, you know, you're backing from the driver's side, you're putting that stress on those little shackle links. And the way these things work is they have to be loose, so unfortunately this lets them move back and forth some, so it causes more metal fatigue, and over time they just basically erode the bolt holes, and they fall apart, they snap. And you know, it's just a fact of life until somebody comes up with a better design to make these work, you know, more efficient and not so much stress on these. This is going to be one of the main components that fail on any RV out there, any travel trailer or fifth wheel. These things are going to keep continuing to snap. The good thing is, was able to locate the parts from my local trailer supply and repair shop here. They were quite costly as well as repairs. As far as doing it through them, they were like $120 an hour, and it was a 4-hour job for them, but they would actually do the entire set of these joints and shackle links. Sorry, had a brain fart, I'm getting old. But they would have replaced all that stuff, new bushings and everything. But you know, like I said, time frame and money wise, you don't always have the luxury to wait, because they're actually booked out for another 2 to 3 weeks before they could actually get our rig in to do this. So that'd be the added cost of longer camping in this area and waiting around, and they may not get your rig done in one day, and then there goes your hotel cost. And you know, like I said, that's not really an option for me. I don't want to go stay in a hotel when I have a perfectly good RV to stay in. So I'm like to get my hands dirty a little bit and do this. But I'm going to go ahead and close this video out here. But when the other parts come in, I will be more than happy to film that and kind of show you guys, walk you through the process of how I reassemble that. And that way, if you guys have this issue on the road, maybe this video could be a little bit of help. Or maybe you know a friend that needs to do the same kind of repair. Maybe you can share this with them and help them out in fixing their rig. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.